Welcome to the world of female legends of science. We are here to present you the game Female Legends of Science that is created within the Erasmus Plus project Females. The game features female personalities that have contributed substantially in several scientific fields, and the idea of the game is to get to know these personalities in order to empower young girls to get involved in these fields and also young boys to fight stereotypes about women in scientific fields. We have made a game of 50 female personalities, many of which come from the countries of the partners of this project. Now we will explain you how to play the game. You have in the game 3 types of cards. One type of card is the legend cards. The legend cards present the female personality that has contributed a lot in a scientific field and also has confronted the challenges and the stereotypes that a woman faces when involved in science. Here you see the portrait of this personality. Here you see the name of this personality, and here you see small text and with biographical details about this personality. Also, here on the upper part you see scientific field or fields that this personality has contributed. These fields are presented through symbols, but also you can see the name of these fields in this auxiliary card that every player has in front of him in order to get acquainted with the fields and their symbols. The next type of card is the power cards. The power cards have 2 information. One is a special keyword that you will be able to use in order to give power to your legends in order to confront a challenge of the game, and also the number of stars, which indicates the force or the power that this card is offering to this legend. And also the last type of card is the challenge card. The challenge card is the challenges that the game is putting to all players, because this game is played like science does in a cooperative way. Cooperative means that all players try to face the same challenge and win against the game. So, in this challenge, the scientific field is indicated by the symbol, and in this case is chemistry. You can also see the name of the scientific field, and the difficulty of the challenge is indicated by the stars. Here we have a challenge of 4 stars. Now, I will show you how one player, playing with the cards in front of him or herself, is confronting or is winning against one challenge. Let's take the first challenge, which opens here in front of all players. All players, you will see next, we will show around, should look at this challenge and try to win it, but now we'll show you just how you win when you are a certain player contributing to the team of this game. Now, this scientific field in this challenge is about chemistry, as we said. So I have to find in front of me some chemists. The chemists that I have in this case are this one. I see the same symbol here, and this one, which also I see the same symbol here. So in principle I can use both of them, but now whether I use this or other, the one or the other card that I may have in front of me depends on the power cards that I have. each player should have 4 power cards in front of the legend cards. Now, when I have found the 2 cards that are about this scientific field, I have to check in the information of the text whether these keywords appear or are close to what I have in the legend description. And let's see, for example, this case. I have here a scientist that is a chemist, among other things, and that is from Turkey. I see the word Turkey appearing here in the description. It's the origin of this scientist. So I can use this card. But look at this. Here I have the challenge card, which has 4 stars. On the other hand, this card, the power card, gives me just 2 stars. So I have to combine one card where the keyword appears also in the text of the legend with one other card that the keyword may appear or may not appear in the text. For example, this one. You see, in this case, this is about the scientist being born before 1945. Here we have a scientist that is born after 1945. So this card is not well matched with this scientist, but it doesn't matter because I have the other card which is well matched with this scientist. I can use also other cards like this one, which, by the way, is also in the text of this scientist, is the word first, because this scientist is the first one appointed in an astrobiology professorship. So this word can be also used, but you can use a second word, a second power card, any card, either it has or it doesn't have the keyword. So this is how you win a challenge, because if you have, for example, the case I showed you before, if you have these 2 cards played on this scientist and these as a sum have 4 stars, which is equal or greater than, as in this case, greater than the number of stars of the challenge. The challenge, as you can see, has 4 stars, and here I collect, for example, 5 stars, or I can collect 4 stars, then I win the challenge. Now, this is what each player has to do in each round. So we will go now with a round with a new challenge card to show you what happens within a round. In every round, every player has to look at her or his cards and check whether he or she can win the challenge. When he wins the challenge, when he says that he wins the challenge, he puts the card on top of the scientist and shouts the first name of her. So you will see this happening now in an exemplary round. Before we start the round, let me tell you that in the beginning of the game you have to have these piles of cards separately in the middle of the table, and also draw 6 cards for each player and put them face up so that everyone can see, face up with the personalities and their text to be easily readable. So every player actually has also to check the text and find whether he or she can match the keywords with the text of the scientist. So each one of us has 6 cards in front of him and 4 power cards. Also, each one can have one of these auxiliary cards that show the scientific fields, although it is not important actually in the actual game. You can also, after learning it, put it aside. So we start with a new drawn challenge card. This means that we all simultaneously, as soon as we see the challenge, try to face it. And here it goes. It's about physics and it's a 4 stars challenge. So let's try now all of us to face it, and we see who will find first the match. Effie. Okay.
Maria Gopert-Mayer.
Okay, so you see that we tried, every one of us, to meet this challenge. We all seem to have made it. I will explain you how each one of us made it. And I managed to shout the first name of this scientist first. It's Effie Karagianni. It's a Greek mathematician and physicist. So, how I won? I showed that Effie Karagianni is born in 1965, and I have a power card in front of me that says born after 1945. So this card matches Effie Karagianni as a scientist and her biographical features, and I also used one random card which does not match it. It's before 1945, so this does not match the features of Effie Karagianni, but I still win the challenge because I collect in total 4 stars as the challenge card indicates, which is the minimum that I should collect. Now, let's see how Christophoros won the challenge. Christophoros used a Turkish scientist, Bilge, who was who made the first collaboration between CERN and Turkey, and who was appointed or not appointed. Yes, he was also appointed, but this was not necessary. It could be true or not, but Christophoros, for example, used 2 cards that both match this scientist. This is not necessary, but it's okay to do it. So in this case, Christophoros also wins the challenge, and let's see how Marina won the challenge. Marina won the challenge with another physicist, this time from Germany, Maria Gopert-Mayer, who is a Nobelist, and therefore she used the Nobel Prize card, which is also in the features of this female scientist. Also, she used the before 1945, which is also true for this scientist as she was born in 1906, but it could be also otherwise with a card that it's not necessarily matching this card, as I did. For example, in this case, all of us have won the challenge. So, after each challenge appears, there are 3 cases. One of these, the best one for our team, is what actually happened. To all of us win. Now, in this case, my card, who managed to be shouted first as a name, becomes a super legend. So I put this card face down next to me, and we will count these cards in the end of the game, and our main purpose is to make as many super legend cards as possible. Therefore, collect them, try to make as many as you can, and for this to happen, as you have seen, we should all have won the game.